Hello my friends, this is Madhav, Internet Marketing Guru. You usually get what you pay for. Isn't there some truth to that? So let's talk a little bit about mobile display advertising. Actually, mobile and desktop display advertising. What you're actually doing is you're purchasing ads that are going to be displayed on third-party sites, and you're paying by number of impressions. So for example, you may spend $1,000 for 10,000 impressions of your ad. Impressions meaning it actually displays on a searcher's page in front of a human being. Now, they may or may not click on it, but it deducts from your impression purchase count once it displays. If your ad is poorly designed, it might affect conversions. You want good click-through so that they go directly to your website or wherever you want to direct them to, so that they interact and engage with your business and lead to customers and sales. Similarly, if your ad is displayed on a page that's not relevant to what you do or offer, you're also going to have some conversion challenges, and I'll give you an example. Let's say you're a plumbing company and your ad gets displayed on GNC Vitamin Store's website. What's the relevance between the two? What's the likelihood for demographic crossover? Okay. So now that we know what some of the challenges are, let's talk about how to address these effectively. I do believe that some form of paid media buying in the form of display advertisements should be done in the right locations. Facebook is an example of that, and it works very well, provided that you geo-target and create your demographics very strategically. For example, if you offer very high-end services, like let's say you're a plastic surgeon and you do primarily breast implants and you don't accept insurance. In fact, I'm not sure insurance even would pay for that in most cases, unless someone was disfigured or injured that led to that. But it's probably going to end up being private pay by the patient, meaning it's money from their wallet going towards that $7,000 procedure. Why would you then want your display ad to display on something like apartmentfinders.com, which is predominantly people under the age of 28 looking for apartments to rent? Do they have discretionary income to go spend $7,000 on breast implants by a plastic surgeon? They may or they may not. But looking at a 30-plus crowd of homeowners and with a demographic that has some different factors, like they're educated, they own their own home, and they have stable employment and so on, there's probably likelihood to get you people that are at least going to be able to afford your services and therefore convert higher. So, to summarize, you want to be very strategic in your display advertising. Display advertising, again, as I mentioned, is simply you're purchasing impressions of the ad across a bunch of third-party sites. You want to make sure whomever you're working with, okay, as an agency or an advertising company who focuses on this, is targeting your ads appropriately so that those ads will be seen on relevant sites where there's crossover in a demographic. So I'll give you another example. Let's say your ad is a more relevant example that might work for better conversions. Let's say your ad is for supplements for senior citizens, geriatric vitamins for longevity. And let's say your ad shows predominantly on retirement homes websites. There is some crossover, right, in the demographic of one looking for one versus one looking for the other. So that's an example of strategy. What I see people doing incorrectly is just buying willy-nilly these ads. Here's $5,000 or here's $1,000 I want you to spend every week to do 10,000 ads, and there's no correlation with and tracking of where the ad is being showed and how that demographic that arrives at that site correlates to what that business's product or service offers. Okay? Because you want conversions as best you can. And display advertising already is notoriously poor on conversion ratios. You don't get 5 or 10% conversions on display ads, let alone 3%. You get about, if you're doing a good job, you get about maybe 0.5% to 1%. This is industry research that reveals this. So you can do the math on your own, but if you use up 10,000 ads in a week at 0.5% conversions, and let's say actually it's not necessarily even conversions, meaning transactional, you're acquiring customer revenue, it's just people coming to your site, seeing your number and calling you and inquiring. Look at the revenue potential there is available for you to generate versus the spend. That's why display ads are generally very cheap. You can purchase 100,000 or 1,000,000 ads in a lot of cases for just a few $1,000s, but that doesn't mean that that's a smart choice or that you're going to get a return on investment. So you have to do some analysis, or your marketing expert, could be me or it could be someone else or it could be an agency, has to do their research and due diligence to determine that this strategically purchased and placed display advertising is being placed in locations that are likely going to be put and viewed in front of potential customers for a business, so individual looking for a business that offers your products or services. Okay, you get it conceptually, right? The strategy here. So make sure that you do look into display advertising as part of your overall digital marketing strategy. Look at what's the cost effectiveness of doing so. How much are you being asked to spend for which amount of impressions of the ad. Have data to track, or at least your agency should track it so that you can see how much traffic your site and your other third-party real estate pages like Facebook and YouTube and so on, how many visitors you're generating directly as a result of click-through traffic on those display ads. And as best you can, just determine conversion ratio and revenue generated based on that information. This is how you do display ad marketing correctly. Correctly meaning with the intent of generating an acceptable return on investment. I'm recording this video because I've been watching for years now people do this poorly and basically end up flushing that money down the toilet and getting zero conversions. It's not the form of marketing that's wrong. It's the strategy and the campaign refinement techniques that are amiss. Okay? So, something to think about with respect to display advertising. I'm Madhav. Thanks for listening.